Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing today? My wife used to hate me. My son really hated me because every now and again I'd get a wild hair, especially if I was waking the wife up to do something. Hey, morning, Data. Well, see, what I'd do is I'd wake them up in the morning, wake up the wife and the son. I'd go in and it'd be, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, dear. Good morning to you. Now let's all sing like the birdies do. Tweet, 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 tweet. And as I was doing the tweet, 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 I'd pinch them. Not hard, but I'd just pinch them. They would get so mad at me. And I just sit there and laugh because that's really not the way you want to get woke up to, listening to my voice singing and then getting pinched. Tweet, tweet, one, two, tweet, 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 tweet. What's that? 6 times? That just drive them up the wall. But I did it. I had fun doing it, and it is what it is. Hey, Data, what'd you think of my thumbnail for today? Did you get a chance to take a peek at it? Good. I had some fun making that up this morning. But yeah. Anyway. Tr- oh, no, I can't. You need to go take a look at it, Data. I can't. This was a fun one. You'd have to go look at. That's all there is to it. So, but it is what it is. I actually slept in this morning. I slept until 4 o'clock, and just as I sat up, the cat jumped up in the bed wanting his morning attention. Besides that, he likes laying down in the warm spot that I just got up out of. So he goes and lays down in the where I was just laying down and stretches out. It's a weird cat. He likes laying down in the warm spot, but he won't. Used to have a cat that would crawl up underneath the blankets. I've had a couple of cats that would crawl up underneath the blankets to keep warm, but this one won't. He will not crawl underneath the blankets for love nor money. Um, but he's a loving cat. He will come up, lay next to me on the couch. If Spanky's not laying right next to me, then he'll crawl up and lay down next to me. Right now, he's in the top of his cat tree asleep. So uh, Spanky's laying here on the couch. He's not right next to me, but he's laying on the couch underneath his doggy paw print blanket. He just sneezed and jerked himself awake. Hey, morning, Ramen. Yes, you are really here. You do exist. Did you get your new Mikey last night? Yep. But did you see what he had in his hand there? He had Thor's band hammer. And speaking of his band hammer, Trump, are you? Oh, I didn't get the notice that you popped in. Good morning, Ramen.
Morning, Princess. It's my
Okay,
girl.
We can hear you, but there's a lot of static.
I'm sorry. It's starting to get warm in here. I might
Okay,
have to
there.
live in my car.
Yeah, you got a lot of static going on right now. Is this your new mic?
It's one of them. I know I'm getting another one tomorrow. I think the new one tomorrow is going to be strictly for the computer, though. Because this one I've got now, it's new. It only has one jack, so I have to use it for the phone.
Okay, let me
So
guess. You got your fan going,
I
blowing on
have
you.
to or I'll die.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I don't want
uh,
it's too
turn
soon.
your mic away from the fan, and we'll be
It
good.
is actually. My back is at the fan. It's too soon for me
Oh,
to go. So, yeah. So I'm getting a tea order in a little while. Nap, 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 nap. Mommy's in a call. So
yeah.
I'm getting a tea order, and I know it isn't for me, but I'm so excited, like a weirdo. Like every time I get something from them, it's like, hey, I got a present. And it's like a surprise present, even though I placed the friggin' order and I've been tracking it. It's just weird.
Yeah. This mic's breaking up too.
No,
You're not hearing every word. Every word's getting broken up.
I just want to hang out with my friends. Isn't it
I
right?
I hope your new mic gets in by tomorrow.
They're saying
Friday.
by tomorrow by 8 o'clock, but I'm hoping it's actually early in the morning. I want it for the fun stream. This ain't right.
Yeah, really. But
This
anyway,
is
in the past couple of days, Trump's ban hammer has dropped.
ooh.
All right. So
Did Dad and
let
Dad break up?
I'm
I think it sounds like Dad and Dad broke up.
the the um let's start with the one that I'm most appreciative of.
6 minutes ago. Thank you.
Okay.
Yay, ramen for breakfast.
The Supreme Court on Tuesday afternoon cleared the way for Trump administration to enforce a Department of Defense policy prohibiting transgender people from serving in the U.S. military.
Okay.
All
If they're
right.
not going to conform to the uniform, yeah. Then.
Well, this is the okay. With the court's three Democrat appointees indicating they would have denied Trump administration's request, the justices paused an order by a federal judge in Washington state that barred the government from implementing the policy anywhere in the United States. I tell you, I absolutely hate these nationwide edicts being put in by local judges.
Yeah.
You know, the only court that should be able to put in a nationwide edict is the Supreme Court.
Exactly.
Okay, that's the only one. These local district courts and such should not, under any circumstances, have the authority to do that. All right, now, so let's get
Yep.
back to why I agree with this transgender ban.
Oh,
All right, why I agree with it. Why I do not believe transgender people should be allowed anywhere near the military service. First of all, first and foremost, nobody, absolutely nobody has the right with a capital R to serve in the military. It is a privilege to serve that you are granted if you reach certain, if you know, meet the standards. One, I have seen excellent people, absolutely excellent people, perform the job immeasurably better than many others, removed from active duty military service for being 10 pounds overweight. All right. I've seen them removed from active duty military service because they couldn't run a mile and a half in 14 minutes. Hey, morning, Digi. I have seen them removed from military service because of a shoulder injury, which could not be repaired to bring them back to 100% or even 90%. One guy, the guy I'm talking about, he only had 75% use of his shoulder, so they gave him a medical discharge. Now, that has changed somewhat since that time because the Army has allowed a guy who was an amputee to return to active duty service. He lost a leg. But he had to meet the physical standards otherwise. Running, push-ups, lifting, carrying, everything else. He had to meet all physical standards, which he did. It took a lot of work on his part. This guy's shoulder could not be returned to, I believe he only had 75% use of his arm. And he could not, so he could not meet the standards of lifting a weight over his head. I've seen that. I have seen people removed from military service for many reasons. Some of them I felt were BS reasons, but I've seen them removed. A good friend of mine who is now clean walked in on his wife being stroked by another man. He went out that night, got drunk, and enjoyed a little some illegal substances. He got popped on a piss test. He had 17 years time in service at the time. He was discharged. That hurt him so bad, he spent the next 10 years in an alcoholic, drug-infused state. Because his wife ended up divorcing him. He lost contact with his children and it just absolutely destroyed the man to the point that he spent 10 years drunk and stoned. Yeah, did you? The guy cheated. He came in and caught his wife mid-stroke with another man. A man that he knew. Because the guy was active duty. Now, yet granted, using drugs, especially in NCO, with 17 years time in service, that's a given. You don't do it. And if he would have lost a stripe, I'd been okay with that. All right. No matter how drunk you are, you're still responsible for your actions, and you do a little coke. That's an issue. I'm not saying he should have gotten away scot-free with no punishment whatsoever. But they did. They gave him a dishonorable discharge. Not just a general, but a dishonorable. So it's not like the military doesn't have a recent history discharging people or not allowing people in the service for many different things. transgender people, these people are mentally, by definition, you have a mental problem. You have a mental problem. There's no two ways about it. And for you to want for the military to accept this person in, how in the hell are you going to give somebody with a mental issue like that a security clearance? Remember, they almost pulled my security clearance because I talk in my sleep. And they wanted to pull my security clearance. Did you? What happened to him? He was kicked out. He spent the next 10, 15 years drunk and stoned on every kind of drug he could find. He got clean about 14, 15 years ago. And he's been clean since. And he's living with his girlfriend. Been living with the same woman now for about the past 15 years. And he's living a much happier life. Well, that was the rules. You got an NCO. He was an E6. Get popped on a drug test. You got discharged. They gave him a dishonorable discharge and kicked him out. Welcome back, Robin.
I hate when that happens.
But
I'm just checking my messages and bam, I am dropped.
But by definition, if you are transgender, if you think that you are a female and you're trapped in a male's body,
oh God,
that's a mental issue.
Okay.
If you think you are a male and you're trapped in a female's body, that is a mental issue.
Yes, it is. Peru got it right.
You have what kind of security clearance? Because every to be in the service, you have to be able to at least have a basic secret clearance.
Ugh.
Because you will be in classified briefings.
Okay.
No matter what job you have in the military. Even if you're a cook, you're going to have security briefings. Because cooks deploy also.
Damn right.
Hospital people, you deploy. Engineering people, you deploy. Computer people, you deploy. It doesn't matter what job you have in the military, you can be deployed. And if you're being deployed, that means you're going to receive some sort of classified briefing. How in the hell are you going to give a classified briefing to somebody that's got mental issues?
Right?
And then, I mean, of course, the most common mental issue of this type is male to female.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I can understand women not wanting to become men. That makes good sense. There are very few buck angels in the world.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Very
a name I
few.
haven't heard in years.
Who, Buck Angel?
Yeah.
Buck Angel is burned into my brain when somebody told me to watch a porn movie. I didn't realize it was a porn movie
I
with him in it.
I saw him on Jerry Springer. That's all I know. But anyway.
Watching Buck Angel in a porn movie will
Oh God.
destroy your brain.
Knowing that you watched Buck Angel in a porn movie has destroyed my brain. Oh my God, why would you do that to me? I woke up so happy, just loving the whole world, and now I'm destroyed. Congratulations, you did what nobody else did.
A friend of mine with a sick sense of humor destroyed my brain with that.
Got some weird news from the church last night, so I
He
have to
he,
get,
he
huh?
laughed his butt off
I can't.
when I saw when he laughed his butt off at my reaction to that.
I can't. No. I am
So,
never looking that name up on any site ever.
but anyway, and then not on top of that, but I mean, if you're going male to female, all right, look at the drug cost that it's going to take.
Yeah.
The drugs you have to be on constantly. And once
Okay, but
again, if you're deploying, how are they going? And
how are you going to take those drugs in the field?
exactly, how are they
How
going to
how are
get
you
you
going
your
to
drugs?
how are you going to refrigerate them in the field? Okay, I just want to address Gigi for a minute. You know, it's your chat. Oh my God, poor shroom, poor shroom. That's what you got out of this. My mind is fucking blown, and you're worried about shroom. Seriously?
Hey,
Oh
he's a
my
good person. He is
God.
concerned about me.
Oh my God, you're a grown man. I think you're handling it. If you were looking that up, I think you could handle it. It's fine. I'm just
Oh, this
okay.
I took the ice tray out of the freezer this morning to clean it, and I forgot to
Yeah.
put it back in. I
Oh
just heard,
no.
and I just heard it dropping ice. So it's like, oh,
Oh.
let me get that ice catcher back in there.
Oh yeah. I don't have the ice maker on my fridge. That's too fancy. You know, I
Well,
always be worried about the tubes getting mold, and I'm
it was
paranoid.
part of the house when we bought it.
Oh my God, I love that. Well, I was doing some research, and well, it's not like I haven't been asked, but I don't have any intention of getting married anyway. But I just hit the what if stage, and then I found out if I want a church official to do the ceremony or get married in a church or be recognized by the church, I have to get a freaking annulment. It's a process too, man. I didn't know this
Wow.
because it was a secular divorce. I have to go to the church and ask the priest how I go about getting an annulment. There's meetings and stuff, and it's probably going to be massive fees I didn't know about, but whatever.
And they're going to ask you to list, when's the last time you've been to
Confession.
to confession.
Oh, honey, I'll just be lucky the church doesn't blow up the moment I set a foot across the threshold, man. It's been decades, so yeah, I'll be lucky there. I mean, I'm a good girl, but damn, there's limits. It's like it's like an exorcism I wouldn't know.
So
I am in love with a
in
God-fearing man,
so in banning trans from the military, I've got no problem with that. In fact, I don't think anybody who declared that they were trans should have been allowed in the military to start with, and they should have been given a medical discharge. At best, a medical discharge. Other than that, hey,
at the least, a medical discharge.
Give them you offer them a general discharge. or an
Oh,
honorable
it's mental
discharge.
illness. Let's be real.
Well, the there's things that happen with medical discharges. Okay, if you're
Alright.
given a medical discharge, there's sometimes there's permanent uh, income, shall we say,
Okay.
government, given to the individual because of that medical discharge. Sometimes, a friend of
Oh,
mine, she fell off of a wingtip of a jet, fell off of a wing of a jet,
damn.
and her knee was in the kneecap, the patella was in like 21 pieces, and the bone, the ball of the joint was in 4 or 5 pieces. So they had to do a knee replacement on her, and they offered her a medical discharge, and I think they gave her like 60 grand to cover future medical expenses.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So, yeah, now granted, now that was a one-time expenditure, but 60 grand, that she needed to invest that money in order to have enough money to make it last for all of her
Oh,
medical
yeah.
expenses.
I see it. Yeah.
But anyway, so am I happy? Transgender and okay. Here's the Hill has an article on this. Get back to. Wait a minute. Ooh, what's that humming sound from your mic there, Ramen?
I don't like the way you said that, sir. No, it's I don't know. I just sat up. I did some ramen.
All right, let me mute you for a second and see if it's coming from your mic.
Yeah, don't forget me.
Okay, well, it's gone now.
Oh man, it's probably a fan.
Transgender troops facing crushing decision as Trump ban deadline looms. Transgender active duty service members must decide whether to leave the military service on their own or be forced out by Friday under the 30-day deadline announced last month by Pete Hegseth, a life-altering decision that those interviewed by the Hill said was nearly impossible to make. No, it's not nearly impossible. It's crushing, said Emily Hawking Schilling, who has served in the Navy for almost 2 decades. It's heartbreaking. A
Is this the
Navy
new Don't Ask,
aviator.
Don't Tell?
I'm sorry, Ramen?
Is this the new Don't Ask, Don't Tell?
That's something else I absolutely hated. We'll talk about that later. A Navy aviator with 60 combat missions under its belt. Schilling oversaw a staff of 200 people before it requested voluntary separation last month and was placed on administrative leave. In its latest fitness report, Schilling's commander described it as an inspiring leader with boundless energy and unmatched enthusiasm. People excelled under Hawkins' leadership, they wrote, referring to Schilling by its call sign. The report and Schilling's own experiences contradict how President Trump and administration officials have sought to frame it and other transgender troop service. Okay, I'm going to stop there for a second.
Okay.
I don't know how I don't know exactly how Trump and the administration has framed the service. I'm going to tell you how I would frame it. All right. First of all, it is a mental issue. It is definitely a mental issue that they should be seeking help from psychiatrists for.
Okay.
All right. The suicide rate by transgender people is astronomical. It's nearly 41% after surgeries.
Wow.
All right. Considering that the military has I think it's now 500,000. I know when I was in, it was 200,000. Life insurance policy on individuals, regardless of how you die. I mean, even covers suicides.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That 41% is a lot of people to be having to, you're really almost flipping heads or tails on whether or not that individual is going to commit suicide while they're active duty.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
All right. And if they are actually trying to physically alter their bodies, again, like we talked about earlier, they've got to be on the hormone replacement therapy.
Yeah.
HRT. And they can't just take it for a week, for a couple of months, then stop. That is something they have to stay on for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
If you're in the military, that's covered by the taxpayer.
Ugh.
Then there were court rulings saying the government had to pay for the surgeries. We used to I call them the addictomy and the pullidectomies.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the courts had declared that the government had to actually pay for the top and bottom surgeries.
That's
all right. I've had military surgeries. I've had them. I had 3 on my knee, 1 on my shoulder, and I had intestinal surgeries while I was active duty. The intestinal surgery took me out of service for 3.5 months, including the hospital stays. The knee surgeries took me out of service for a month, including hospital stays. So over my 20 years, I probably lost close to a year of actually being able to do my job because of different surgeries that I had to have.
I'm surprised you went back that fast after the knee surgery. That's pretty big.
Well, they were all my knee surgeries were laparoscopic. They did have to cut one of them. They did actually have to cut my knee open, but the rest of them were all done laparoscopic. The other 2.
Okay.
So you figure on average, I lost a month of actually being able to perform my job. A month or maybe 2 months. Okay. Now, did I go back to work? Yeah, but I was on light duty, basically sit in the office and do paperwork, do other people's paperwork.
Good.
That was my light duty.
At least you could do something, damn.
Okay. But was I actually doing my job? No. I wasn't actually doing my job. So over my 20 years, I probably lost a year's time because of surgeries. And that really isn't uncommon because the military is not easy on a person's body. Now, and I'm talking about that, and everything except for the intestinal surgery. All my surgeries were definitely duty related. The shoulder surgery, the knee surgeries. Those were things, 100%. I got injured doing my job. Having 8 inches of intestine collapse, well, that's kind of hard to blame that. That's kind of hard to blame that on working, especially since that happened after a night of serious drinking. But anyway. So I do not see, that's my mind, okay? Now, they're saying here a 2016 RAND corporate study commissioned by the Pentagon found allowing trans people to serve had no negative impact on unit cohesion, operational effectiveness, or readiness.
Okay.
I do not understand how that report could have come out, okay?
I was just thinking that.
I do not understand. I would love to have, of course, this study is classified. You can get the results, but you can't get the nitty gritty portion of it. All right. Now, of course, what they're saying here, and in the previous paragraph, Trump's January 20th executive order to boot transgender from the military states that cannot satisfy the rigorous standards needed to serve, and allowing their participation threatens military readiness, unit cohesion. An argument long used to keep marginalized groups, including Black, gay, or female Americans, from serving. All right. Now, Black military, that was broken back in World War II. Okay. Gays, when I was active duty under, and when the Don't Ask, Don't Tell came in, and when Bill Clinton, Don't Ask, Don't Tell came in under Bush.
Okay.
All right. Then just allowing open gays to serve came in under Clinton. And those, I don't care what you want to call me. I would absolutely refuse to have a gay roommate. And at the time, we did not have private showers. Our barracks were built with the big open, like you had in gym class in high school.
Just say prison, but that works too. Okay.
Okay, those big open room with about 20 shower heads.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If the reasoning to keep males and females from from living together, showering together, is because males and females are sexually attracted to each other.
Exactly.
Okay. What are you doing when you put in gays, male or female, in with the people that they are sexually attracted to? And the argument was, well, a gay man's not going to do anything to a straight man. Bullshit.
Okay.
No, that's absolutely nonsense.
It's bullshit. Prison has the same day for the stay, and there's statistics on that.
Yeah.
Dang.
But that is absolute nonsense. And females have been in the American military forces for decades. I mean, for 100 years or more. All right. What they're saying here is in combat units. And yet there are still studies out there showing that females involved in combat units do interfere with unit cohesion.
Oh, yeah.
Because the males are more likely to put themselves in harm's way to protect that female.
Yep.
And when they have to adjust the physical standards down to
Yeah.
allow females to enter those units,
Yep. You can't tell me
then
there isn't some resentment there.
there's a problem. There's a damn problem. Either you're going to have two sets of standards, one for males, one for females, or you're going to have one set of standards that have been lowered so females can enter, but that also means you get less physically fit men into the unit. So something's wrong. Either way is not good for the unit.
Uh-huh.
And my God, could you have all female units, all male units? Oh my God!
I could see it. I mean,
I'm
not saying I wouldn't want a female coming to help me, but if I went back to New York, God forbid, and then all these migrants started bombing us, and I'm stuck in Times Square, do I want a team full of Angelina Jolies, or do I want the Batflex? I'm just saying,
Yeah. So yeah, there's, and okay, Shroom, get back on course. We're talking about trans, not women. What I'm saying here is that
but let's be real.
The lessening of standards that started with allowing women to join the active units.
And you got a bunch of men saying they're women.
To allow actively, openly gay men and women to join the military units.
There you go.
Now, that's the camel under the camel's nose under the tent. We've already got in the populace today. You go to the college campuses, all right, and this has been going on for years. People trying to normalize pedophilia.
Nope. Wood chipper. I'm sorry. I'm channeling Jay Delay. So.
I mean, you have to be totally ignoring what's going on to know that that's not happening and hasn't been happening. Remember, they're no longer called pedophiles; they're called MAPs now. Call them a pedophile. That's the same as using the N word or the C. The N word to describe black people or the C word to describe women. Even though
I use the C word all the time, you can't call your friend NSC. Are you really friends?
Even though we used that C word to describe our flight caps when I was active duty.
There you go.
Schilling, who serves as president of Sparta Pride, an advocacy group for transgender service members, said it is complying with the Trump admin's policy despite believing it to be unlawful and challenging it in court. Well, it lost in court. It stressed her views do not reflect those of the Department of the Defense or the Navy. Schilling's lawsuit filed in February with 6 other trans service members argues that banning ready, willing, and able service members does not further the objectives of the United States Armed Forces. As I said, you can be 10 pounds overweight and kicked out.
Yeah.
10 pounds overweight. And if your job does not require, what does 10 pounds overweight have to do with being able to file administrative paperwork? Huh? You tell me. What does Why can't a person that weighs 300 pounds work in an office environment where they're doing nothing but shuffling paperwork?
I don't know, man. I mean, that's
All right.
like me asking, why do colleges require a photo on their applications? Yeah, you know, I don't know. But I mean, if there were an emergency, couldn't somebody in an office position be deployed anyway? Or no?
No, but I'm saying, if you got somebody that their sole job is to be a paper pusher, an admin troop, they do nothing but cut orders.
Yeah.
And file people's reports all day long. And I worked in an orderly room for my last 3 years in the service. So I saw what these admin troops do. And the most strenuous thing they did was move their computer when they cleaned their desk. That was the most strenuous thing any of them had to do as part of their job. And hell, they even got a regular lunch break every day. They could get their haircuts during their duty day.
Yeah.
Those of us on the flight line, most of us brown bagged our lunches, or we went down and got them off the roach coach.
Ew.
That little
food truck.
Yeah, food truck that come around and go out and get a sandwich for $2.
I don't know, man. We were watching. What is that? It's a bar. It's kind of like Kitchen Nightmares, but it's bars, and I forgot the name of it. Oh my God! This is why I don't eat out. That's all I was saying through the whole thing. And poor B, he's just like, girl, that's why I don't eat out ever. No Burger King, no Red Lobster, no random bars, no. I saw some stuff last night. I could never get my brain back. Ugh. And I work in food service, and I've seen some horrible stuff, but last night was a new eye-opener. Bar Rescue. I don't remember the name of that friggin' show, but I am never watching it again. Something for confession, no doubt. Really?
But yeah, so I've got no problem. And I still believe one of the things we said back then, again, when they first started letting the gays come in, they're going to let the gays openly serve, then they need to have their own barracks.
I have no problem with that.
If they're going to say gay service members can come in, they got separate barracks for men, separate barracks for women, then they need to have a separate barracks for gays.
Exactly.
Put the gay men and lesbian and women in one barracks.
You want to compete in the Olympics? Have a trans category and a trans changing room. There you go. And once you put up the trans category, how many of them go back to being men? I wonder.
You're right. That one. You're right. So that's one banhammer I'm glad to see come down and get held up by the courts. Now, what we need though now is we need Congress. And this is where I am so pissed off at our Republicans in Congress right now. Because they've got the House, they've got the Senate, and they've got the presidency. They could make it a law banning transsexuals from serving in the military. The problem is, and this is the difference between the Republicans in Congress and the Democrats. The Democrats in Congress rarely, very, very rarely step out of line. They all march to the same orders. The Republicans in Congress, we've got a range of Republicans in Congress from Snow, who is damn near a Democrat, to people like Hollings or Jim Jordan. We've got a wide range, and the Republicans rarely march in lockstep. You'll always have one or two Republicans who are going to argue a point.
Yeah.
They're going to disagree. They're going to step out of line. And with the Congress as closely aligned as it is right now, if just 2 or 3 votes sliding off the Republican side can stop a bill like that going through.
Yeah.
And
We know.
a lot of these Republicans in Congress, they're weak sisters. They will. The press is talking bad about me, so I need to go with the Democrats on this one, so the press don't talk bad about me.
I need to toe the party line and keep my mouth shut.
They're McCain's. The press absolutely loved McCain because he was that Mustang. He was
one of the good ones.
He was right. He was until he decided to run for president. And then he wasn't quite so good anymore.
Right.
But no, so I don't think and Johnson is not that strong of a conservative leader in the House. He really and truly isn't. I mean, he's better than Ryan was, but he is not willing to push the issues as much. If he can't get everybody to agree, or if he thinks it's going to be a little bit controversial, the more controversial it's going to be, the less chance he has of bringing it up for a vote, bringing the bill forward. And I'm not talking about controversial as being controversial in the by Democrats, but in the press. The more the press hammers him about it in a bill, less likely he's going to bring that bill up for a forward vote.
Okay.
So, but the other ban hammer that Trump has brought in, and it goes into effect tonight. Okay. I got to share this. Where is it? Window, and there it is. He is immigration ban.
Oh, travel ban.
Another travel ban.
Okay, is the ban about us going there or them coming here?
Oh, this is the wrong document.
Oh, okay. Because I only heard about that this morning. I haven't looked into it yet. Not that I go anywhere.
Let me get back to... All right, present, share screen, window. Okay, okay. There it is. Dun, dun, dun. In 2025, Trump has banned some more travel ban states, countries. And I went ahead and I built up this nice, neat little chart. Trump 2025, Trump 2017, and Obama 2015. Just so we can compare countries. Okay? Effective: Afghanistan, Myanmar,
right.
Chad. He also banned Chad in 2017.
Okay.
The Republic of Congo.
All right.
Now, in 2017, he banned Arita, but it's not banned this time.
Uh-huh.
Equatorial Guinea. Oh, no, he is banning Arita this time.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. I missed that, so I need to bring that down here. Haiti. He is restricting travel from Haiti.
I'm kind of surprised. Okay, yeah, they don't leave.
Now Iran. Now Iran's been everybody is always Iran's been quite frequent.
Uh-huh.
I am just surprised he's not restricting Iraq.
Right?
Okay. He's not restricting Kyrgyzstan this time.
Okay.
Libya.
Okay.
Oh, how did? Okay, I need to bring Miramar down here. How did that not get up there? I don't know. Anyway, so he is banning Miramar this time as well as
Miramar, my boss lives in Miramar. What the? Let me look at that.
Okay. Travel restrictions on North Korea.
Oh, Myanmar. I was like, oh crap, I go to Miramar all the time.
Oh, not Miramar, Florida. Good
I
job,
know.
woman. All right.
It's okay. I'm still traumatized. I got banned from another mall this weekend. Don't ask.
Now, this is one that's going to hurt some Congress critters.
Uh-oh.
Travel restrictions on people from Somalia.
Ooh.
Okay.
Too bad that wasn't enacted like 20 years ago. Jeez.
Well, it's been enacted now since Obama. Obama, okay, in 2015 had travel restrictions from Somalia.
Little late. Too little, too late.
The Sudan. Syria was not on this year's list for some reason.
Huh.
Tanzania was not on this year's list. But, yeah,
okay.
but it was on the list back in 2015 or 2017.
Isn't that like near Australia?
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's look this up real quick. Where is it from? Oh, no, I didn't want to start that program. Dang it.
Oh, no. You do.
I did something here. Oh, my antivirus. I accidentally activated my antivirus program. Anyway, now Yemen is across the board banned again. Now, there are travel restrictions, but not as strict. From Brunei, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. I'm surprised Venezuela isn't up on the.
I'm not.
Isn't up on the total travel ban, and it's just down here on the lighter version.
I am too. Yeah.
I'm just surprised it's not there.
Right, it should be.
You're right. It really should be. Okay, and let's see here. Where? Okay, no, it's an act. Okay, Tanzania is in Africa. This is an African nation.
Thank you. I did not know that. Thank you.
So. But anyway, This is the list of countries. Now come back. Let's get back over to here. Come on.
They popped up to me. Okay.
All right.
One of
So getting to the news article. President
okay.
Trump on Wednesday signed a proclamation barring travelers and immigrants from a dozen countries and restricting the entry of nationals from another 7, citing concerns about national security. Trump's proclamation fully bans entries of foreigners from Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. With certain exceptions, Trump's order bans citizens of these countries from even seeking to come to the U.S. permanently as legal immigrants, as well as temporary visa holders as
I
tourists.
was to say, little studies, they come in here and they just hide in their little communities. They don't leave, man. That's how my ex got here. He had a visit visa. He never freaking left. And then he tricked me into marrying him. Wow, okay. And now I have to get a special dispensation from the church to remarry. And oh, hell.
Now this ban is supposed to take effect at Monday, June 9th at 12:01 a.m. on Monday, June 9th. Trump said the sweeping entry restrictions were necessary to address concerns related to terrorism in the countries that listed in order, inadequate vetting of affected nationals, and the lack of cooperation on deportation among some of the nations. Some of these countries wouldn't allow us to deport illegals back to them, so Trump said, fine, no, none of your people can come to our country. This sounds fair to me. If you won't take your people back, we're not going to let any of your people come here.
There you go. I guess something similar.
So again, I have no problem with that. And let me just, okay. To make it a little easier, so you can see all the countries that are banned.
Right.
The ones above the blue line are the ones that total ban on entry. Below the blue line is the other list. Okay. Trump's decree contains certain exemptions for U.S. permanent residents, the spouses and children of U.S. citizens who have a clear and convincing evidence of identity and family relationship. Afghans who have assisted American forces and have special visas. Now, the problem with that is some of these Afghans with these special visas, they bought them. They actually didn't do nothing, but they paid somebody to give them to them. Because there was a Navy admiral who was court-martialed and convicted for selling these special visas. Diplomats, athletes, and dual nationals with a passport from a country not listed in his proclamation. The announcement on the ban follows the attack on Sunday in Boulder, Colorado, on marchers raising attention for Israelis taken hostage by Hamas. The suspect was identified by U.S. officials as an Egyptian national who had overstayed his tourist visa. Now, the problem. Okay, here's an issue with this guy that attacked those people Sunday. The Biden administration knew that he overstayed his visa, and they knew he overstayed his visa. They were in contact with him and his family, and they allowed him to stay. So we can literally say the Biden administration has blood on their hands because they
Oh
knew
yeah,
this guy had overstayed his visa and didn't deport him.
I don't know. I really think that if someone puts their hand in and fights to keep a murderer in the country, the victims of that murder ought to be able to sue. That's just me, though.
Now,
Like
while Trump did not place any restrictions on entry of Egyptian nationals, his proclamation directed officials to assess the adequacy of Egypt's vetting policies in light of recent events. Now, the court. Now, see, now, this guy's entire family is here illegally. Trump, the ICE had went to deport him, and the court stepped in and said, "No, you can't."
But they're here illegally.
But they're here illegally. The entire family is here illegally. And the courts are stopping them from being deported. This is a problem that we have with our judicial system, where these lower limit courts think that they've got this kind of power.
When judges are defending criminal behavior, maybe they shouldn't be practicing. That's maybe me, though.
Exactly. When a judge says that they're sitting there and they're showing representation, that judge needs to be removed from office, because that judge is not there to represent anybody. That judge is there to follow the law and handle situations where people did not follow the law. And people who've overstayed their visas, that follows under the law, directly under the Secretary of State's authority. Now, Trump said that he is always considering on revising the list and adding new countries. So, yeah, I am, once again, I'm happy to see the ban hammer drop. There's no need for these illegals to be, and there's no need. Now, some of these countries on here, welcome back. Some of these countries on this list, I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about the country. And I guess that's a good thing. Okay. Evidently he has gotten reports in his daily briefs and such. And honestly, I don't feel a president has to seek my permission or explain to me exactly why he is doing travel bans. All right. We pay him to do these.
Exactly.
We can, and never forget, the longest a travel ban can be in place is 8 years. Because a new president can step in and remove travel bans.
Okay.
All right. That's one of the wonders about our country. No travel ban is permanent, because the next president stepping in can remove them.
Or you could choose not to. I mean, that's okay too.
Yep. And if the next president steps in and says he wants to leave the travel bans as they are, then obviously there's a reason why those travel bans are in place. So I don't have a problem with them.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Are you ready for this? This here is
Don't share that picture.
This is absolutely a news story that will not get much publicity.
Are we talking about the athlete who got all her shit revoked? But the
No.
trans athlete, okay, never mind.
Nope.
I gotta watch that in a little while.
Corinne Jean-Pierre leaves the Democratic Party after serving in Biden's broken White House.
That'll do it.
Jean-Pierre is vague about why she no longer identifies as a Democrat.
No, you worked for Biden. That's enough. It's fine. We know. You want to convert somebody?
Press Secretary Corinne Jean-Pierre has left the Democratic Party and is now an independent. According to a press release announcing her new book, Independent, A Look Inside of a Broken White House Outside of the Party Lines.
Yeah.
How much closer inside the party lines could you be than being the White House spokesman?
There you go. But you want to break somebody of being a Democrat, you make them defend Biden. There you go. That'll do it for anybody.
This woman stood there for 2 years lying.
She didn't do a good job of it, and she looked so stressed the whole time, man. Oof. I was just waiting for the ball patches to start coming in. She looked so stressed. Like, she looked like somebody that hated their job and wanted to come on Monday and see the place on fire. Like, she just was the embodiment of that meme. I actually feel sorry for her.
The only good thing I got to say about her is she didn't say, we'll circle back.
Oh, like, I still miss McKinney. Screw that, man. This poor woman, though, she was so adorable to look that friggin' stressed. It's like, anytime Peter Ducey raised his hand, she looked like she wanted to quit.
Okay. Man. Jean-Pierre, who served in the Biden administration, is somewhat vague about why she no longer identifies as a Democrat, writing that she feels the current political moment necessitates freeing ourselves of boxes.
We know. It's okay. We know. Go have a cookie and juice box. We know.
This is the same woman who said that she got her job because she was the first lesbian, the first lesbian black immigrant to speak for the White House.
That's
she
super
put herself into boxes. She put herself into, she was proud of those boxes because she checkmarked lesbian. She checkmarked immigrant. She checkmarked black. And she held that up as something to be proud of.
Can you imagine the fury if she went in for like a president of a bank job and they said, I'm sorry, we don't think you're ready to be the first lesbian black immigrant woman for this job. We're looking at someone else. Could you imagine the fury that raised the press? Holy shit. Why, I'm just getting so sick of that stuff being an issue. It's not a qualification. I'm sorry.
It's not.
I have feelings. I'm sorry. Feelings are for women, though, so. Oh, my God. Bullshit.
Okay. This is Pierre. I determined the dangerous things as a country requires freeing ourselves of the boxes. We need to be willing to exercise the ability to think creatively and plan strategically. We need to be clear-eyed and questioning rather than blind, loyal, and obedient as we may have been in the past.
Well, okay, I determined that the danger we face in the country requires freeing ourselves of Biden, which we have done, but damn.
And now we need to free ourselves of the progressive branch of the Democratic Party, which is about 90% of the Democrats in Congress.
And then you went and put yourself in a bunch of boxes.
Okay, let's see here. Publishers say that in the book, Jean Pierre will provide a closer look into the White House as Biden stepped off the 2024 ticket due to the betrayal of the Democratic Party that led to his decision.
Tim, having dementia is not a betrayal of by the Democratic Party. What the hell? The Democratic Party betrayed the American people by covering it up for so long.
She betrayed the American people by covering it up for her 2 years in office.
And I'm sorry, but if your president can't walk up a flight of stairs, there needs to be questions asked.
I'm not worried about whether or not a president can walk, okay?
Well, when he started out being able to walk, and then he stopped being able to.
I'm more concerned about his brain being functional.
I know that bad boy is broken.
Okay, Biden. All right, I'm going to be, because of the nerve damage in my legs. All right, my right leg has a tendency to give out from underneath me. That's why if I'm outside the house, I walk with a cane.
Well, considering my recent events, I'm not going to judge anybody on walking, but
okay. And that's
his brain's fucked. Let's be real.
And that's why I bought this $150 cane that I have, because I'm a big guy and I don't trust these $20 Walmart canes.
I don't blame you. They are from China or God knows wherever, man. Don't trust that crap.
But I will, so I'm not necessarily going to bash on somebody just because they can't walk. But when you can't stand there and formulate a sentence, a coherent sentence.
That's where I was going next, but you got it.
Now we've got a problem, because if you can't formulate a coherent sentence, that is telling me your brain is not working right. You have got issues. We've had presidents who were stuck in wheelchairs. We had presidents with back injuries so bad they could barely walk. JFK.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not, physical ailments, that's one thing. It's the mental acuity. And I tell you, JFK is one of our greater presidents. He's in our top 10 presidents.
Okay.
Okay, without a doubt, he's in our top 10. All right.
Okay, I want to share the screen, so I might talk.
Okay. Exactly, Data. Having a president with a brain is a definite plus. And I also want a president that is America first, is not giving a damn about the rest of the world unless it is his first priority is what is the best thing for our country. Not what's the best thing for the world. What is the best thing for our country? I am here to represent and to protect the American people, the citizenry of the United States.
That's what you're elected for.
They're not there to protect the non-citizens. They're not there to protect or to ensure that people from other countries can come to our country to improve their lives. If they, anybody that wants to come into our country needs to be bringing something with them that will improve our country. I don't care whether or not moving to our country improves your lives, because it obviously will. But you need to be coming to our country. If you're coming into our country to live here on a permanent basis, you need to be bringing a skill that is going to improve the country. And that it's that plain and simple. If you're not going to improve the country by your skills, then you don't need to move here because we don't need to be importing people to put on our welfare system. They're going to be a drain to our Medicare system, whose children may or may not be, never do anything, but they're going to put a strain on our educational system. Data, I've done that more than once, so I'm not going to. That's why I don't climb the stairs at work anymore. That's why my bosses banned me from climbing the steps at work anymore, the owner of the hotel. So, once again, having the fact that Jean Pierre has decided that she is no longer going to be a Democrat and she's going to publish a book proclaiming that she is now an independent and she is going to be honest with the American people as to what had happened during the Biden administration. Why didn't she do that when she worked in the Biden administration? Well, the reason for that's real simple. She's more concerned about getting her paycheck than she was about helping the country. Just like now, she's not doing this out of any reason other than financial reasons. Proclaim herself an independent now so that she can make that money with that book. I'm now an independent. Let me tell you the truth about the Biden administration. Now it does us no good for you to be telling us the truth about the Biden administration. You needed to be telling us the truth about the Biden administration while Biden administration was there. Doing it now that's just a money grab. It's not going to help us now. And it's not making you look any better. Because we're going to sit there and any responsible newsman is going to stand there and question you as to why you didn't say this stuff you're saying now when it was occurring. Any responsible newsman. Because you're going to go out on the book junket. You're going to be on ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, and MSNBC pushing your book. You'll be on The View pushing your book. And not a damn one of them are going to press you on why you didn't say this stuff a year ago. Why you didn't say this stuff 2 years ago. Why are you saying it now? Because now you want to make money off of it. That's why you're saying it now, because the truth about Biden has come out, and you're wanting to jump on that money train. You and Jake Tapper. Your Jake Tapper's doing it from the news person angle. You're doing it from the insider angle, and you're going to get your book out there first. You want to get your story out there first before anybody else of the say the cabinet members. Before any cabinet members pop out there. Because one person who won't write a book about it or come out about it is going to be Kamala. Camel Toes isn't going to come out and say anything like this at all, because she knows that would hurt her in the long run. That'll hurt her trying to come out for any political office in the future. Because she's going to try to run for president at least one more time. All right. Progressive California Representative Maxine Walters has agreed to pay a $68,000 fine after an investigation found it violated multiple election rules. The FEC has said longtime House lawmakers' 2020 campaign, Citizens for Waters, ran afoul of several campaign finance laws and the trenchant documents released on Friday. Failing to report receipts and disbursements, knowingly accepting excessive contributions, and making prohibited cash disbursements. According to one document, that appears to be a legally binding agreement that allows both parties to avoid going to court. So where is the state's AG in California coming in to say that she needs to be prosecuted for violating state laws? Huh? Where are they? How many campaign finance laws does she, state laws did she violate? Not just FEC laws now. The FEC, the federal laws, as in Trump's campaign. Though the federal's over and done with, but can she still be brought up for violating state laws? So will the state attorney general file a lawsuit against her? Take her to court? Try to get her put in prison? What do you think? Because seriously, I doubt it. I seriously doubt that the California attorney general is going to bring one lawsuit against her, bring one charge against her. Even though they supported all the charges brought against Trump in New York. They're not going to bring any charges against her here in the state of California. The FEC said that there was nothing there for Trump. They didn't do anything to Trump. But Maxine Waters, she clearly broke laws if she agreed to a $68,000 fine. Waters Committee agreed to pay the civil fine as well as send its treasurer to a commission-sponsored training program for political committees within 1 year of the effective date. Respondents shall submit evidence of required registration and attendance of such event to the commission. Citizens for Waters had accepted excessive campaign contributions from 7 people totaling $19,000 in 2019 and 2020, despite the maximum legal individual being capped at $2,800. Okay, so 19,000. One 9 0 0 0 divided by 7 equals $2,714.29 per person. So she basically allowed 7 people to donate the maximum twice, on average. On average. The Waters Campaign Committee also made 4 prohibited cash disbursements that were each in excess of $100, totaling $7,000. What's that, about $1,700 a piece? on average per disbursement? $7,000 divided by 4. Yep, $1,750 per disbursement on average. So, I mean, she only 17 times the, or 10 times, 17 times the amount that she was allowed to disperse. She did it 4 times. The campaign contends that retained legal counsel to provide advice and guidance to the treasurer and implement procedures to ensure disbursements comply with the requirements of the act. Leilani Beaver, who's listed as the Citizens for Water's attorney, sent the FEC letter last year that it maintained campaign finance violations were errors and were not willful or purposeful. How do you accidentally spend 17 times the amount of money that you're allowed to spend? How do you do that? How do you accidentally accept donations almost twice the amount illegally allowed to accept? And tell me, are those individuals who illegally donated? Remember, they sent Dinesh D'Souza to prison for illegally donating. Are those 4 Democrat people who donated to Maxine Waters going to go to prison? Yeah, I think I remember that being reported there, Data. Oh, I needed that swig of tea. Excuse me for a second while I take a second swig of tea here. I've gotten a little too vocal. My throat's starting to hurt. So, yeah. Now, let me go ahead and give y'all a link to this because it's also got embedded into it the some of the legal documents. But yeah, old Maxine Waters, she should be going to jail. Yeah, here we go. In 2023, Maxine Waters paid her daughter $192,000 to pay for a slate mailer operation for 2 years, January 2021 through December 2022. It is reported just one sum of thousands that Waters paid her daughter for campaign work. But will the state attorney for California, who is California state attorney? I forget. California State Attorney General. Rob Bonta. So, Mr. Rob Bonta, will you be bringing charges against Maxine Waters for illegally donating, for breaking campaign finance laws? or you're going to let her slide because she's a guy, she's a Democrat and you're a Democrat and she's a black woman. So she fills three of those boxes that's going to keep her from being prosecuted. She's a Democrat, she's black, and she's a woman. Biden-esque, yep. So I wonder here, what did Maxine Waters say? Maxine Waters on Trump convictions. Campaign finance conviction. Okay. Okay, I'm not. What can I do to not? All right, what is this here? Oh, they pulled the story. They're pulling the stories. They're pulling the stories on Maxine's statements on Trump. On Trump's conviction. That is funny. They're sandbagging the stories. You can't find them. Okay, way to go. Way to go, the media. All right, now this next story here, this is something that's really going to affect Raman and I and those of us that live in the southeastern United States. Massive cloud of Saharan dust is about to hit the U.S. Dust from the Sahara Desert will cloud the skies of the U.S. Southeast this week in its annual weather event that doesn't always reach the American continent. The dust clouds form as a result of atmospheric phenomenon known as the Saharan air layer. As the name suggests, it's made a long journey across the Atlantic Ocean from the North African birthplace in the Sahara, the world's largest hot desert. The Saharan air layer forms with massive quantities of desert dust are stirred up by tropical atmospheric waves along the desert's southern edge, ramping up in early June, grown to 4 kilometers thick, 2.5 miles thick. These dust plumes are blown across the Atlantic Ocean where they're further lifted by denser, more humid ocean air. Look at this. Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama. We're all going to be hit by this dust storm. But Florida is going to get absolutely, look at that. That is going to be absolutely demolishing to the state of Florida. While the dust affects air quality, it can suppress hurricanes from forming. This may be good news given the National Ocean Aeronautics Agency is forecasting a hurricane-heavy season. So there we go. That's what we got to look forward to. And that's one of the reasons why my sister was thinking about moving down here, but she's very sensitive to a lot of things in the air. So this may make her not want to move down here. On top of the fact she's not a big fan of hurricanes. When we got hit 7 years ago, she thought we were crazy. So let's see, anything else I need to worry about with this storm? People with asthma, allergies, and other respiratory conditions are warned to stay inside or use face masks if you're outdoors. There you go. Well, I just spent $100 on face masks, so I may have to spend another 100 and buy some for my wife and I. Oh yeah, we got absolutely dusted with rain on Monday and Tuesday. If y'all want a link to this story, here it is. There's a link to that if you want to sit there and watch that little Saharan desert thing. Now we're going to finish up. We're going to finish up the day with with the congressional hearings, and I wish this was Wednesday instead of Thursday, because I so want to. I'm going to play this entire hearings, but here's part of it that is absolutely wonderful. And of course, it's got one of my absolute favorite senators, Mr. Kennedy, questioning a judge.
I happen to agree with you. I don't think there's any basis under Article 3, under Supreme Court precedent, under the English common law for nationwide injunctions. I think politicians have helped judges, and many judges are politicians, to just make it up. And many of them are like Professor Shaw here. If they like the president, they're against nationwide injunctions. If they don't like the president, they're for him. Professor, let me ask you this while I have you. On April 22nd, 2024, you said there are some members of the Supreme Court that are evil. Which justices were you talking about?
I'll take it your word, Senator. I don't recall using that word, but.
All right, here's what you said. You were talking about the majority opinion in Muldrow v. City of St. Louis. You said, quote, Justice Kagan, will she be able to control the opinion's future distortion by her evil colleagues? Probably not, end quote. Who were you talking about?
Sir, I'm very skeptical. If it's a transcription, it was probably a transcription error. I do not think I said.
No, you said it. Why don't you own up to it? Which you call some of the members of the Supreme Court evil. Now, which ones do you think are evil?
I would have to refresh my recollection. I've been very critical of some members of the Supreme Court.
You made that statement, aren't you?
I'm
You're an
told,
officer
Senator, it
of the
doesn't sound
court.
like something that
You know
I
what
would
I'm
say.
embarrassed at? That you're teaching our kids.
I don't refer to Supreme Court justices as evil in the classroom,
on
sir.
your podcast, April 22nd, 2024.
Okay, well,
Big as Dallas. And you're an officer of the court, and you're here advising us to be respectful to federal judges, and you say they're evil members of the United States Supreme Court? Gag me with a spoon.
Now I'm going to get the entire hearings of this because it's good. I mean, obviously I only played a few minutes of the hearing here at the end, but Kennedy is in fine form. Shift for brains. The pencil-necked geek with the googly eyes. He gets spanked a little bit. So I guess I'm going to have to save that for Monday. And that'll also give me time to find the video of her podcast where she did call him, say members of the Supreme Court were evil. Because the video is out there. And I just didn't have time to find it this morning. So hopefully I'll be able to find it by Monday and download it so I can play it. Because I truly want, Kennedy doesn't make those kind of statements unless he is 100% certain that was said. And that's one of the reasons why I love Kennedy. I have yet to catch that man. I fact checked him many times over the past couple of years. And I've yet to catch him in even a distortion, a mild distortion of the truth, or when he said that somebody trying to quote somebody. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. But anyway, I'm not going to be monkey and do a 3-hour stream today. Maybe on Monday I might do one, depending on how much the hearings, on how long that hearings are. But with Professor Shaw. But yeah, we'll have some fun with that on Monday and Tuesday of next week, depending on how long that is. I'll probably have to do a part 1 and 2. If nothing earthquakey happens between now and then, of course. Hey, you do realize that when I say I'm going to do something especially a show that's a couple days away like that is always dependent that there's nothing earthquakey that happens between and betwixt. So again, I am looking forward to it. And good news for you guys. Okay. Spent some time with my on the phone with my one doctor, the one that's controlling me being on infusions. And in 4 to 6 weeks, 7 weeks on the outside. So sometime in the next 7 weeks, between 4 and 7 weeks, I will be no longer have to do the 5-hour infusions on Mondays. So y'all no longer here in 4 to 7 weeks in that time period have to listen to me crank that machine and fill syringes and exchange them out. Because my new medicine that they're going and put me on, and Hopefully I can stay on it. Is less than a minute. So it'll be 5 minutes all total. By the time, I get done rubbing my belly with the rubbing alcohol and doing whatever and doing the injection and clean up afterwards, I'm figuring it would take me about 5 minutes. 5 minutes versus 5 hours, man, I'll do that in a heartbeat. And I am so enthusiastic. I'm so happy. Now I am worried about what my copay is going to be on that drug every week. Because right now my copay is about $30 a week, or $30 a month rather. So I imagine this copay is probably going to be a little bit higher. But whatever it's going to be, I just hope it don't get too high. But anyway, everyone, y'all have a good day. Tomorrow, hopefully Ramen will have her new mic in, and we'll do a Friday fun day. And who knows what we'll talk about. Maybe we'll talk about these 30 cookbooks I downloaded. Anyway, y'all have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. Stay out of trouble. If you can't stay out of trouble, have as much fun getting out of it as you did getting into it. Okay? Behave, be good. Be with the ones you love and love the ones that you're with. And have a good day now.